Greetings and welcome to the Warhammer 40,000 Kill Team video, where today I'm going over and reviewing Kill Team Typhon, the new box for Kill Team. But before getting to things, thanks goes to Games Workshop providing this to review for free. As always, I aim to be honest, impartial and constructively critical. But please remember to like and subscribe as well as comment. Let me know what you thought of today's video, if you found it useful and helpful. Remember, I've got a Discord you can check out for free in the episode description below, an affiliate at Element Games, an affiliate discount code at Crossfire Games, and a Patreon if you want to give me some more support as well. But let's get on with the video. So yeah, today I'm going over the brand new Kill Team box Typhon. This is the fourth box in the new season of Kill Team. This is season 1 and it's closing it off. So quickly going off what's inside the box. So as you can see, this is the Typhon box. It's quite huge. On the back, it shows that you've got the Battleclade, the Ravener's Kill Team, the Tyrannid Terrain, as well as 10 Hormagaunts, as well as a Ravener base. So you do get some narrative stuff, which is really cool, as well as all the cards and tokens. So as you can see, you've got all the sprues there. There are a lot. It's quite a dense box. And then here's the sprue for the Raveners. Once again, a brand new bespoke kill team. And then with the Battleclade are all brand new as well. The only thing is they have annoying sprue placement where basically everything is in a random place. Nothing's joined too much. And then you've also got your Tech Priest on the side from Blackstone Fortress. Then also here are the 10 brand new Hormagaunts, which is a really nice addition, useful for the narrative stuff in the box. And then you've also got this brand new Tyrannid Terrain, which is basically plastic renditions of the old Forge World Tyrannid Terrain, which is amazing and surprisingly quite big. And you get a lot of it because it's 2 sprues, so it's amazing. Also inside, you get all the bases. You need to base everything as well as all the rules and tokens. You also get a transfer sheet for the Battleclade. You've got the Typhon dossier, and then inside you also get cards, tokens for both factions. So you have everything you need to play both teams in the box, which is great, as well as instructions on how to construct them all. Going over the kill teams briefly, so I will have separate reviews for both the Battleclade and the Raveners, which you can find on my channel, where I go through each of them in depth. But starting off with the Battleclade, they're a very active force. They're 10 operatives, so 2 Tech Priests and 8 Servitors. You get everything you need to play them in one box, which is amazing. And they have this basically ability called Network Counteract, where they can share APL to have another operative immediately change their order and do a 1 AP action, which is really good. They allow this really nice reactive web. So they're very good playing defensively and punishing your opponents, leaving anyone in the open, or if they can only go for 1-for-1 trades. They're also very action point efficient, so you can get a lot out of doing stuff like the recon archetype, and especially on mission action intensive missions, which is really good. The downside is they are quite slow at 5 APL movement, 5-inch movement, and as I said, they're a very active force. You have no way to get +1 APL, so they do struggle when it comes to going like reposition dash shooting. You have very limited play in that regard, and you're relying on your opponent coming to you, which can be very problematic. But otherwise, they are a little complicated to play, but once you get your head around them, they're very strong. But you will have to respect opponents that out-activate you. However, you will destroy elite kill teams, so all good now with how good elite teams are at the moment and how popular they are. Now, when it comes to the Ravener's kill team, they're a 5 operative kill team, the first 5 operative kill team in the game. They have their main thing being this tunneling network, where you place up to 4 tunnel markers, starting with 1 in your turning point, well, when you deploy, and then you place 1 every other turning point in the strategy phase, and they basically cause this link. You link them one after the other, and it allows you to move up the board, and you move in and out of your tunnels. Once again, it's a very reactive way to play, and when you come out of your tunnels, you come out within 2 inches of them. You don't have to come out within the marker. You come out within a connecting point, and then you can just go from there, which is really good. They are 7-inch movement with 20 wounds, but they are only a 5-up save. They have decent melee with 4-5 base damage, pretty much on everyone, but it does make them quite basic, so they can lose out to dedicated melee forces. Their real downside comes from their 5-up save and the fact that they have Seek and Destroy and Infiltration. So Seek and Destroy they can kind of play, but this is a kill team where you kind of have to play quite cautiously, because your tunnels only really become effective turning point 3 and 4, and if your opponent is playing quite defensively, it means you're going to be low on the crit up and tuck up going into turning point 3, which means you can actually quite easily lose games. However, they're a very strong and reactive force that allows, like, if you push up well enough, you can also do darting maneuvers where you can counteract and disappear down tunnels and like spend your CP to disappear away from tunnels or charge out of tunnels. So they're very, very like useful and good. And they're also another 1-box team, which is great. You just have to respect that they have quite a low skill ceiling in terms of it's quite easy to play around them if your opponent has a way to like stall you out more. But into other league kill teams should do quite well, and they're a very fast kill team, which is quite nice. So going over the terrain you get in the box and more so the narrative content, but starting off with the terrain, you get this brand new plastic terrain, which, as I said, is a reimagination of the Forge World terrain we got back with the like Amphilean project, which was years ago. A great terrain set, but it was very expensive, and most of it was out of production for years and then commonly requested. Now it is still big, but not as big as those terrain pieces were, like the resin ones. But you get so much because everything you see on screen now you get 2 of, which is huge. It's very like more than enough for kill team, and like you could probably get away with it on like your 40k boards. So hopefully Games Workshop sell this separately and keep selling it. But you get the Spore Chimney and the Capillary Tower, which are both heavy. Then you get the Brood Nest, Underbrood Mound, the Gestation Sac, the Capillary Root, the Shard Spewer Growth, and the Spore Vent, which are all light. So you actually have a lot of cover to play around. I was thinking the Brood Nests and the mounds would be heavy, but they're light. So it's actually not as defensible as you'd think, but still a lot of terrain to play around. Now you could repurpose this to use it by itself, but it's also allowed to work within your own kill, like the current kill zone, so Vocus, even Gallodark, and you know, Beta Decima if you want. So you've got a lot of flexibility with using that, which is great. Now going over the narrative content more so. So this is the Joint Ops pack. There's actually a huge expansion for Joint Ops. So you get these 6 missions and it shows you how to play based on where you go. And then you either do this by yourself or in Joint Ops mode where you share a kill team with your opponent. So you can basically play anyone and then play into Tyranids. So you could tweak it a bit so the Tyranids could be something else, but this is designed for Tyranids, and it's kill team agnostic in terms of you don't have to play the Battleclade, you can play other stuff, but which is really cool. So once again, it covers the normal game sequence, which follows as normal. You get equipment, but your MPOs don't get equipment. As obvious, you get the strategy phase, and then you've got strategic gambit cards for their behavior, so it can kind of help you and guide you what they should do. Then once again, it goes over the threat principle, how the MPO should play, and the difficulty. So like you can add more, make them tougher, all that kind of stuff, give them more action cards to use. And once again, when you're activating your MPOs, you should do it in such a way that punishes you the most. You shouldn't be doing it in a way where they're just like going to run into the open and do nonsense. You should be sending them to do stuff that will punish you the most. And then also they've got a bunch of brand new MPO data cards for new Tyranid creatures. So they go over the MPO limit, but I like ignoring that because I'm crazy, but we'll go over the data cards. So you get Hormagaunts, so they're 2 APL, 7-inch move, 5 up save, 7 wounds. They're 4 attack, 8 on freeze, 3-4, which is not bad. Then you've got Ripper Swarms, which are just fine. And then you've got the Barbed Gaunt, which is nice, right? I didn't expect the Barbed Gaunt. So it's 2 APL, 6-inch move, 4 up save, and 12 wounds. And then it's got a really powerful barb launcher, right? Which is 4 attacks, hitting on for 5 attacks, hitting on 4s, 3-5 blast, or blast 2 ceaseless heavy, which is very nice. So this is more of a shooting operative. Then you've also got Raveners, who have their MPO rules if you don't want to use like the Typhon rules, but you can just use Typhon rules. Then you've got Termagaunts, which are also 2 APL, 6-inch move, 5 up save, 7 wounds with flesh borers and claws and teeth. Then you've also got Von Ryan's Leapers, who are like mini lictors, who are 3 APL, 7-inch move, 5 up save, and 12 wounds with 5 attacks on their scything talons. They're also on 40mm bases. So very similar to Raveners there, but it's nice we get all these additional add-ons. Now, that's about it for NPO data cards. We might get more on Warhammer Community. Games Workshop do have a tendency to release more updates for NPOs and the narrative stuff for free on Warhammer Community and on White Dwarf. But from what they've deployed now, that's a great usage. And especially if you have the 40k starter set, so if you bought that, you have everything. And if you buy this box, you get the Hormagaunts. So you actually get a lot of stuff to use, which is amazing. Now you get to the mission map key. So this is where all the basically using Vocus. So you've got all the Vocus terrain and then the Tyranid infestation terrain and how the keys with the map represent. So you've got mission 1. So you've got 6 missions. And as you can see, you've got the deployment as the defender in the left hand corner, and then you're trying to basically go onto the objectives and like just scan the area, which is very useful. Then you've got mission 2, where it's like you're trying to blow up all the gestation sites, which is very nice. Mission 3, like where swarm response, where depending on how your missions is played, now you're under attack by the swarm. So, you know, you've got a very interesting like siege defense there. Then Pierce the Nordcore is where you're just trying to destroy specific Tyranid synaptic terrain to try and minimize the effect of the hive mind there. So you can basically like control terrain and then try and blow it up. Then you've got Desperate Sacrifice if stuff has gone bad, where you're basically just trying to deploy this bomb and survive as long as possible to make sure the bomb goes off, which is very cool. And then you've got Encircling Predators, where this time you are basically where you kind of just try and need to escape as well as basically kill the stuff as much as possible. You know, it's very much a last stand, but it's a nice set of 6 narrative missions. Then they've got a new twist on the narrative content with Adversary Ops for the Typhon mission pack, where it's the PvP narrative mission. So it goes with the maps, MPO strategy phase, victory points, MPO activation, behavior, and threat principle once again, where you're basically playing PvP while also dealing with the MPOs running about as well. So it's kind of free player in a very unpredictable manner. So they actually use the Volcus maps from Approved Ops with alterations, which is really nice and does give you some guidance if you want to use these in tournaments. But, you know, it's if you can do it, you can. It's very interesting. They change things quite a lot. So as you can see with map 1, it's quite open in the middle. You've got light cover everywhere pretty much, and then it changes a bit more in map 2 where it's more like defensible. You've got more terrain in the way. Then once again map 3 is quite open in the center, but this time you've got like more defensible pieces of terrain around certain objectives. And then in map 4, way more open than it normally is in the middle, whereas you still got like some of the terrain pieces are quite defendable for the objectives. Then in map 5, once again, a more open, still behind heavy cover middle objective, but quite easy to reach. This is where there's been more changes. Maybe like more of a hint of what we might see next season. And then you've got map 6, which actually hasn't been changed too much. Most of the heavy cover has just been replaced with hive spires, which is a choice. Like, these are the most drastic changes when it comes to those maps. But other than that, that's all the narrative content, which is really great. So for the Typhon Overview, I think this is an amazing box. Now, RRP, I believe it's £100, so £80 if you're buying it from like Element Games and other stores, which is really good. So it's a bit more expensive than normal boxes, but you get way more terrain. You also get narrative data cards for like MPOs and stuff, as well as 10 Hormigauns, which is great. So I know this is the weird box where competitive players may get a bit annoyed they are paying more for like less content they'll use. But as they've shown with those maps, to be fair, those adversary op maps, you could 100% use them as just like variations of Volcus, and it would be interesting to test those out. I might do battle reports on them to see how viable it is, because it would offer some interesting shakeups to Volcus, but it depends how widespread the terrain becomes, like in the Tyranid side. Also, the great thing is both kill teams are one box. So if you buy this box, you get 2 full kill teams. You don't really need to buy anything else, which is amazing, right? So you get 2 full kill teams. Both are actually well balanced. You know, Blood and Zeal was very strong, too strong, but these kill teams are very balanced. They are thematic, but they're actually quite fun. I find it interesting how both kill teams are very reactive in terms of they're great at punishing the opponent if they make mistakes or if the opponent comes to you, but they're not too great at being as aggressive. The Raveners can be more aggressive than the Battleclade, but the Battleclade are very a defensive kill team at heart. So it's an interesting way to see these kill teams. And this is the first time I think, you know, we have to give Games Workshop props where they've designed a balanced melee team. And, you know, this is like literally breaking a trend, which is great to see. But also you get a bunch of narrative content. It's really nice. Like, as the boxes have gone on, we can see they've added more narrative elements to make it more playable, not just for people playing competitively, which is great. You know, I'm a competitive player and I love the competitive side, but it's nice seeing the narrative elements gain more love, especially the fact that you get 10 Hormigauns to play around with. They give you multiple MPO data cards and really have dived deep into this terrain and how to use it for the box. Not only giving you 6 maps you can use competitively or casually, as well as 6 really in-depth narrative missions, which makes it really fun to play over like a few weeks or gaming nights, which is amazing, right? This is the narrative content Kill Team needed, and it's great we're finally getting it, just a bit later than expected. But both Kill Teams are amazing. I've painted them both up pretty much, like I'm still working through my Battleclade, and I really love that they've re-brought back this old Forge-Old Tyranid terrain and finally given us more Xenos terrain. You know, I would really love if we got more Xenos kill zones for Warhammer 40,000 Kill Team. But as I said, you know, if those like Tyranid terrain maps are actually viable, we could see them in competitive play. You know, you could always, like, it just depends on the availability of the box, which may be a problem. But overall, I'm really happy about this box. If I didn't get it for free, I would get it. So I highly recommend you get it, even if you're playing competitively or casually. If you're more of a casual player, you're going to love this box. This is probably the best box of the edition because you get so much narrative like stuff to do with the box. And if you're competitive, while these teams aren't the strongest kill teams, like they're not broken, they are still very good and in a position that can be built up on. I will say the Battleclade are stronger than the Raveners in my opinion, but they're both very interesting kill teams, more so with the Battleclade. Battleclade really allow you to do lots of crazy tricks if you can set it up. The problem is setting up. But as I said, it's great that they're both one-box teams. This is really good. I'm really hyped. This has actually re-energized me for Kill Team. It's really great. I can just see Blood and Zeal as a blip, and like going over the other boxes, it's like we've had a great season. So this is one I'd highly recommend, and it's been a pleasure reviewing it as well as getting to build, paint, and play it. But that's pretty much it from me today. Please remember to like and subscribe as well as comment. Let me know what you thought of today's video. Did you find it useful and helpful? What do you think of Kill Team Typhon? And remember, I've got a Discord you can check out for free in the episode description below, an affiliate link at Lemon Games, affiliate link and discount code at Crossfire Games, and a Patreon if you want to give me some more support. So I'm just going to shout out my patrons. So for my adepts of the crew, I have Tom, the Houston Toad, Supercow Nick, Mr. Meatward, Marshall, Lucas, Graham, Fangzu, Draken, Dave, Dan, Dada Goldens, Chris, and Amorphium. So thank you so much for all your support. It really means a lot to me and helps support the channel. But yeah, now I've got both of these out of the way. I'll have a battle report coming up shortly. I'll try and finish off the Battleclade. They're actually quite easy to paint. You know, both kill teams I'd say are quite easy. But I've had a fun time. I need to see, like, I love the Raveners, but my gosh, Infiltration and their attack ops suck for them. But there's still hope. I'm a big Tyranid player at heart. I have like 6,000 points of Tyranids, and it's great to finally have Tyranids back in such a big way for Kill Team, which is really great to see. But no matter where you're enjoying Kill Team from, whether you're scouting servitors or invading Tyranid High Fleet, remember, you always have a chance to win, as long as you can roll a crit.